Hello and welcome to Morning Brew on Hughes of the World. My name's Graham Hughes. You're watching the show, obviously. Hello. We've got Martin Harrow. We've got Lost Missionary. We've got Gallifreyan Man. In the chat, we've got Simon Smith. We've got Mr. Tisk in there as well. We've got others. If you'd like to join our friendly friends in the friendly chat, hey Diz, hey Black Dot Dot. If you'd like to join our friendly friends in the friendly chat, just hit the friendly subscribe button and wait for a minute. But we have no trolls, no bigots, no transphobes, no gobshites. Okay, it's specifically a no gobshites rule. Okay, I'm the only gobshite that's allowed on this channel. If you are a gobshite, please do not engage in the chat and be a twat. Because if you do, then Diz will come down on you like a ton of bricks, and you won't be able to write any more messages. So if you're going to discuss things, do it in a nice way. In a nice way. Don't be a twat. Okay. So got a lot of stories to get through today. The main story being about, and we'll be very careful how I talk about this, because obviously I don't want to get sued by the richest author in the fucking world. Can I call her a cunt? I don't think you can be sued for calling someone a cunt. So, yeah, let's go straight in there, shall we? J.K. Rowling, she's a cunt. She's just a horrible person. I don't know what the fuck happened when she reached her 60th birthday or whatever, but she just woke up one morning and went, I'm going to be the most horrible person that ever fucking existed. And I was like, but hang on, you were a beloved children's author. Why would you do that? And she's like, I don't know. I just woke up in the middle of the night, in a cold sweat, because trans people exist. And some of them, they're sexier than what I am. So, grrr. Honestly, like, the transphobic lobby, the transphobe lobby is insane, and it is born of the same manifestation of bigotry and hatred as the the male fucking bigotry fucking manosphere pipeline. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. So Amnesty International published a growing threat, the anti-rights movement in the UK. That was the name of the document, and then withdrew it after admitting it had bypassed the charity's established internal review process. The organisation, Amnesty, said the report's language did not reflect its official position, and that it remained committed to defending both women's rights and trans rights. Beira's Place, the Edinburgh Sexual Violence Support Service, founded and funded by J.K. Rowling, the trans exclusionary sexual violence support service, appeared in an appendix classifying it as a gender-critical actor. This is a support service that goes out of its way to tell trans women they are not welcome. The document provides no individual analysis of Beira's Place, no allegations about its treatment of clients, and no financial assessment of the centre. It just includes the organisation on the list as somewhere, that is seen as being somewhere that is anti-trans. Possibly because it excludes trans women from using its services. I mean, if there was a golf club and they didn't let black people join the golf club, I think we'd be well within our right to say, well, that might be a race-critical golf club there. Yeah. Rowling has then invited women's organisations named in what she's calling the Amnesty Blacklist to seek legal funding from her J.K. Rowling Women's Fund. And she extended the offer separately to gay men's groups, gay trans exclusive, gay bigot clubs, included in the report. For Women Scotland, all four of them, has demanded a permanent withdrawal and an apology. Beira's Place Chief Executive Leslie Johnson called its inclusion deeply offensive. Well, if you don't want people to think that you're deeply offensive, why not open your services to all women and not just a select group of women? If you say I'm not going to let Pakistani women use my service, or I'm not going to let black women use my service, or I'm not going to let women with a certain characteristic use my service, then I think it's kind of within the rights of people to look at that and say, that sounds a bit bigoted, doesn't it? Sounds a bit racist. Sounds a bit, homophobic, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic, whatever it is. The report mapped 117 organizations, including anti-abortion campaigns, US-linked groups, conservative Christian bodies, organizations associated with conversion practices, and 51 that they labeled gender critical. Now, I don't actually think that Beira's place was in the list of gender critical things. It was just in the appendix. But what do I know? I don't know. I just find this whole thing just so fucking depressing that the richest author in the world, I'll say that again, the richest author in the world, J.K. Rowling, literally rolling in money, is using her money to not only fuck over people who are trans, but also she's now trying to fuck over the human rights organization that is Amnesty. I mean, the UK, this is in the report, the UK has experienced a significant decline in protection for LGBT plus rights, falling from 1st to 22nd place in the ILGA Europe's annual rainbow map between 2015 and 2026. Key factors contributing to this decline include the failure to reform legal gender recognition framework, the absence of a ban on conversion practices, the treatment of LGBT plus asylum seekers, and the implications of the Supreme Court judgment in For Women Scotland versus the Scottish minister. In July of 2025, Amnesty International UK released a study of 65 anti-rights groups in the UK, 32 of which spent £106 million from 2019 to 2023, a rise of more than a third. Spent £106 million spreading bigotry and hatred, usually towards the trans community. What's the trans community supposed to fucking do? There are no trans MPs. There are no representatives of trans people in public life. There just aren't any. There's no trans billionaires that I know of. Absolutely. An absolute fucking mind fuck this, that they've been allowed to get away with it. And if anyone criticizes them and says that's a bit bigoted, they threaten to sue. And now J.K. Rowling, formerly beloved children's author, is threatening to sue a human rights organization. Can you see that? Can you see how that is just the maddest thing? Like, do you think that anyone 20 years ago would have foreseen that the woman who wrote The Goblet of Fire would end up being someone who would have a fund so that organizations could sue a human rights organization for hurty words, for the hurty words? Conservative Amnesty calculated that 37 organizations with accessible accounts spent more than £144 million between 2019 and 2024. That is just fucking insane. That is insane. Conservative Christian policy organizations accounted for £46.7 million of that expenditure. UK branches of US groups spent £43.9 million. Anti-abortion organisations, there's a lot of overlap between anti-trans and anti-abortion groups, spent £35.8 million. Groups classified as gender critical, transphobic, represented £3.6 million or 2.5% of the measured total. Amnesty nevertheless argued that litigation and campaigning had given them influence beyond their expenditure. The report devoted substantial attention to Alliance Defending Freedom UK, whose annual spending rose from just £390,000 in 2019 to £1.4 million in 2024. It also identifies 13 crisis pregnancy centres, noting some received national lottery or government grants, despite Amnesty's concerns about medically inaccurate information and attempts to discourage abortion. These are these fake pregnancy centres that people set up. The Christian right set up, the Christian right wing set up in order to discourage women from having abortions. Amnesty's recommendations include tighter charity commission scrutiny, NHS investigations into crisis pregnancy centres, and stronger checks by institutional funders. The immediate legal vulnerability is the gap between the report's broad definition of anti-right and the lack of organisation-specific evidence explaining why every body in its appendix received that particular classification. And I've got to be careful here, because J.K. Rowling is notoriously litigious. We have about like 89 people watching this, so I doubt she's going to come after me. But, it's worth pointing out that she is a cunt. But also documented campaigning and financial support for legal services, which can be criticised directly. But the evidence available does not substantiate as fact that she wants trans people killed. I just want to make that very clear, that she definitely doesn't want... There's no evidence to support that she wants young trans people to kill themselves. That's absolutely not supported by any evidence that I have. What an awful person. What a dreadful, dreadful human being. Just go back to thinking about Sam Neill passing away. We woke up Monday morning with the news, sad news that Sam Neill had passed away. And there's such an outpouring of love and affection for this gentle, caring, funny guy driving around his vineyard with his blow-up dinosaur. Just being nice, just being lovely. Playing his ukulele with what's his name? Bundlefly. Jeff Goldblum. On the piano. Just getting on with his life and just having a nice time. And then you've got this woman, J.K. Rowling, just sitting there going, I fucking hate trans people. And you got to think, at some point, a screw has become loose, She's a sandwich sort of a picnic, that one. There's something wrong with her. There's something deeply, deeply wrong with her. Like, something has gone horribly, horribly wrong. And I think it's because she became a billionaire. And I just don't think it's very easy for people to become billionaires without turning into fucking monsters. I mean, look at Elon Musk, not for too long. He looks like a fucking half-melted robot. But, I mean, there's a part of him that maybe had the best of intentions when he started off with Tesla and electric cars and trying to, get people into the stars and set up Starlink so everyone in rural areas and places could get the internet. Maybe there was a bit of philanthropy about him, but he just turned into an evil motherfucker. The richer he got, the more evil he got. Money is the root of all evil, they say, and I don't think it's wrong. J.K. Rowling spent the bulk of her literary career when she was riding high with the Harry Potter stuff. She spent that whole time telling us a narrative, spinning a narrative about how being exclusionary and calling someone a mudblood and leaving them out of the gang and not including them because their blood is not pure. She made a career out of saying that was wrong. She made a career out of making out that Voldemort was the bad guy. But it all turns out that Rowling was the Wicked Witch all along. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It is really mind-blowing. And it's mind-blowing how much damage one person can do. One person with the money and the connections, the amount of harm, the amount of hurt that they can cause, it's just insurmountable. Like, it's insane. Trump, Elon Musk, J.K. Rowling, Vladimir Putin. These are people who've got shitloads of money and they use it to make other people's lives a misery while enriching themselves. And we'll not forget that fact, that number, that 80%, 80% of transphobic organizations in the US, anti-trans organizations in the US, 80% of them receive some funding from the oil companies, from the fossil fuel companies that want us all fighting amongst ourselves. Instead of, I don't know, doing something about climate change and the fact that thousands of people are dying of fucking heat stroke. Yeah. I'm just reading some of the messages here. Rowling is part of the Scottish Episcopal Church, which, according to my very quick research, has very strong conservative and traditional values and views. Yeah. Elle has shared Elle has shared a link there to the Good Law Project. If you've not already signed that, please sign it to a petition on there. She's like the anti-George Lucas. Well, yeah, I mean, imagine if Star Wars Episode 1 wasn't just a bad movie. It is a bad movie. It's not a very well put together movie, but imagine if it had just been a screed against black people, or a screed against people of the Muslim faith, or gay people, lesbians. Like, the whole thing was about how much he hated lesbians. And you're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You know, it turns out that the Sith were all lesbians, and that's why they decided to destroy the universe, and we have to stop the lesbians because... Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you do that to your own legacy? Why would you do that? Like I say, I think something's gone horribly, horribly wrong with J.K. Rowling. I don't know what it was or when it happened. She wrote that she was attacked by her cisgender partner. And if that made her distrust all men, fair enough. But trans women aren't men. Trans women are women. End of. That used to be what everyone seemed to think 10 years ago. But now, all of a sudden, no, it's disruptive to my life to have to call people by their name that they want to be called. You know, that's why all the women in my life who are married, I just call them by their maiden name. You know, I just keep calling them by their maiden name because, you know, I don't. And if someone says, you know, to me what their name is, you know, I meet a woman and she says, you know, hello, my name's Amanda. I just say, okay, well, I'm going to call you Gary. And they're like, what? I'm going to call you Gary because I want to call you that. Yeah, but it's not my name. Yeah, but that's what I'm going to call you. Can you not? What the fuck's it got to do with you? Like, what difference does it make? And when you have to, you meet someone and they've got a name badge on and it's got their pronouns on. Great. What's the problem? Well, you know, it's just politeness, and it means that if you're not sure, and you meet someone and they've got it's kind of helpful. It's kind of helpful. You don't want to be running around going, oh, you know, I think this person's a male, and then it turns out that they don't identify as that, and now you've upset them and they're going to cry. You know, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to upset anyone? It's helpful for me. I don't see why people see it as such a imposition. But then again, when you're used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. I wonder if the introduction of an 80% tax rate on all income and assets over 10 million would rectify these wealthy toffs and stop them attacking minority groups. I really don't think that a wealth tax of over 10 million would work. I really have my doubts about it. I don't think it's worked usually around the world where they tried it in Spain and it raised fuck all money. People left because, you know, money moves around. What you want is a land value tax, which Andy Byrne was talking about bringing in. So episodes 1 to 3 are aging better each year thanks to the way society's moved since. Some of the things in there feel almost prescient, says Faves. Yeah, this is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause. Yeah. If JK had an episode which gave her these issues, it's not like she hasn't got the money to get the best therapy, is it? Yeah, very true. Very true. But she just hates herself. She obviously looked in the mirror one day and didn't like how she looked. And all that money has not made her feel better about herself. And that must be really depressing. You know, I'm not saying I feel sorry for her. I definitely don't. She can fuck off. But I can see that the frustration of being someone who's got all the money in the fucking world, like she'll never want for anything in her life. She could pay someone to wipe her ass for the rest of her life, you know, no problem. But she's still not happy. She's clearly still not happy. She's not having a good time. Maybe that's just her personality. Maybe she's just one of these people who just can't kick back and have a laugh unless it's at someone else's misfortune. But I genuinely think that she has gone from the good side of the force to being just absolutely monstrously evil. And I mean monstrously. She wants to dole out money to groups that were mentioned in this report by Amnesty. So those groups can tie Amnesty, a charity, a human rights charity. They can tie up Amnesty in endless litigation so that Amnesty can't proactively help the people in Gaza. They can't help the people in Darfur. They can't help the Rohingya Muslims in Burma. They can't help the Tamil Tigers, what's left of the Tamil Tigers, the Tamils in Sri Lanka. They can't help the Muslims in the Uyghur Muslims up in northwest China in the Xinjiang province. It's just mind blowing to me. It's absolutely mind blowing to me, and it's like this thing of like, you know how racists hate being called racist. They think it's more offensive for me to call someone a racist, or even worse, a black person calling them a racist, than it is for the racist things that they say. It's somehow worse when you say, no, you're a bigot. How dare you? How dare you call me a bigot because of my bigoted views? I'm going to take you to court now. I'm going to take you to court. Absolutely fucking mind-blowing. But yeah, sorry that is the case. And to anyone who's watching this who is trans, my trans friends, you know, I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry that we've found ourselves on this particular fucking timeline. But I do genuinely think people are waking up. But what we need is, you know, we need someone who's got a bit of wodge, a lot of wodge, to come in on our side on this. We don't have anyone. All the billionaires are on the side of the fucking gobshites. Because they want more money. Because they thought that once they got their first million, they'll be happy. And they weren't. So they got more millions and more millions and more millions. And eventually they got 1,000 million. They got 1 billion. And they still weren't happy. All that money and still not happy. All those things, still not happy. And it's because I think there's a couple of things at play here. First of all, that whole thing of like, you know, I've got all this money. I spent all this money on my face, and I'm still fucking ugly as shit. But also, there's that thing of once you reach a certain amount of wealth, you can't trust anyone anymore. Are they being your friend because they're your friend, or do they want something from you? And what a lot of these rich motherfuckers tend to do is their real friends that they grew up with and went to school with and stuff like that. They didn't go to private school; they went to a normal school, especially. They cut them out of their lives. They cut them out of their lives because they don't want to hang around with the lower echelons of society. They don't want to hang around with the hoi polloi, the plebs. And so they're left with people in their circles who are all just parasites. And then it becomes a game of one-upmanship where they're all trying to have a bigger fucking yacht from each other. It's really quite depressing what happens to humans when they get too much money. They're like drug addicts. They're like heroin addicts. They just go mad. Go absolutely mad, and they'll do anything, literally do anything. No matter how degrading, how debasing, they will do it if it means more money coming their way. When wealth taxes actually worked during the 50s and 60s, they were backed, at least in part, by the Bretton Woods Agreement, i.e. real wealth tax need international accord, going off historical precedent. Yes, one argument. It's something that the EU could do. It's something that the EU could do, but if America decides, no, I'm not going to have this, you'll have people setting up in America or setting up somewhere that's not in the EU or in any EU jurisdiction, like in the Cayman Islands or Bermuda or the Isle of Man. Because with lots of money comes great attachment to other rich people. It's a totally different dimension of life. Under total pressure, anyone can turn anything. Again, follow the money. Yeah. I guess if you're completely surrounded by gobshites and the gobshites are applauding you by being a gobshite, then you're going to be more of a gobshite, aren't you? And if you're not anchored anymore, if you don't hang out with your childhood friends who were your real friends, you don't see any of them. I think that's really, really disheartening, when you see these multi-millionaires. And I keep saying this, like, if I had that money, I'd just be having a fucking party. I'd be making movies. I'd be making really cool, hilarious films. I'd just be trying to do cool shit and help people. And I'll be taking over like a square in Liverpool and just making it nice, filling it with cafes and stuff. Not to turn a massive profit, not to make loads of shit fucking money, but just give somewhere, just somewhere, give the people of Liverpool somewhere nice. I probably would have put some money here into Durham. It's a bit fucking depressing in Durham. I mean, these are all pit villages here. No one's got a job. But since they put all those fucking flags up, I don't think I will. I think if I ever do make it, my money's going into Liverpool and Panama. But else can fuck off. We need left-wing commentators to talk about it, and Andy Burnham to grow a spine, explain that it's a right-wing talking point, and fix it. Well, I hope he does. He's got a lot on his fucking plate, hasn't he? Jesus Christ, that is a job I would not want right now. In 1979, there were 0 billionaires in the UK. In 2026, there is 156 billionaires in the UK. Let's see what happened in 1979. I was born. It's all my fault. Michael, can you stop shouting? Michael, can you stop shouting? If you want me to read your message, don't do it all in caps. Captain Coconut says it's not what happened in 1979. It's what happened in 1984. Political transparency legislation opened the door to the rich to get more out of everyone else via access. And then Gallifreyan went, even at the makey rolls I make today OMS, I'll still be happier than I would be in the most expensive sushi with the most expensive sushi in the world. Of course, that joy is somewhat tempered by living under a hate machine. Well, this is the thing, Gallifreyan Red. It's an artificial machine. I mean, I guess all machines are artificial, but there's no grassroots movement to hate trans people. It's top down. It's bestowed. That hatred is bestowed among people. That hatred is paid for by these transphobic billionaires and the oil groups, the oil lobbies, which obviously want to keep on burning oil forever. I love to shout from top of the hill, says Michael. For the record, there are lots of nice cafes to go in Liverpool. There are indeed, absolutely. But Martin, Williamson Square, outside the Playhouse, I'd love to do something with that place. I'd love to do something, just knock down that fucking Sports Direct or whatever the fuck it is these days. Sort out those pubs at one end, get rid of that fucking horrible 60s abomination on the left as you're coming out of the Playhouse and build some nice stuff, some nice cafes and restaurants and bars, not like Concert Square, not like that. No, I don't want it to be shit. I want it to be nice. Parasols and verandas, and you sit out in the sun, have a cup of coffee, watch the world go by. That's what I want. Go to a cafe here and pay £12 for a coffee and a slice of cake, not for the likes of moi. Where are you, Lost Missionary? Is that London? I love the Echo. More love for Liverpool there, the Liverpool Echo. Surely the words you would shout in the sentence are shout, top, and hill. And you done my echo. You done my echo? Echo. Artificial, not the stresses putting on me and my heart are real. Yes, that's understandable, Gallifreyan Ren. And I don't want to dwell on this too much because I know that it is upsetting for some of the people watching. I think it's upsetting for everybody, but particular our sisters and our brothers in the trans community. It is just horrible. It is just genuinely horrible. But just know that there are people fighting on your side. Obviously, the Good Law Project, obviously Amnesty and others, despite the attempts of billionaires to shut them down. And also, the point that I always keep making is that there will never be a time that humanity exists on this planet when there are no trans people. There will always be trans people, no matter what. There's always been trans people. There always will be trans people. In the same way that there'll always be left-handed people. There'll always be ginger people. Cotswold, Graham, plus Ulf, plus fours, and wankers. The normal people are hidden. Yeah. One angry pagan says the enemy is not troll, nor is it dwarf, but is the baleful, the malign, the cowardly, the vessels of hatred who do a bad thing and call it good. That's from Terry Pratchett there from Thud. I've never heard of Thud. It's one of his books. Anyway, so got some other news stories to get through today. And by the way, the super chat is on. So if you want to drop some super chats in during the show, that would be really, really, really appreciated. Because just to give you some example of like how much money you make from advertising on this channel, on this platform, it's about $1 for every 1,000 people who watch your video. Have a look how many people are watching right now. Yeah, I'll be looking to get $1. So, yeah, if anyone wants to drop in some super chats, we'll fire off the confetti cannon. And if you're very nice, I'll fire off my special new Binfetti cannon for you. Or Binfetti or Binfetti. Anyway, so other stories today. New homes at risk becoming dangerously hot. Analysis of Royal Town Planning Institute and Town and Country Planning Association found that only about half of English local plans contain mandatory ventilation or cooling policies. Many councils promise tree, water features and other cooling infrastructure without using planning mechanism that guarantee delivery. Oh, wow. Thank you, Yorosh. Oh, my God. We just got a mega chat. Thank you so much, Yorosh. There you go. Me out with me back in bulk. Thank you so much. 50 euros. That is so kind of you. Thank you. Also, just got a super chat from Martin Harrow as well. That is really kind. Thank you very much, Martin Harrow, for that £2 super chat. Brilliant. Well, do you know what? I'm going to do it early because I like this. I'm going to do it. Here we go. Bin face. Yay! Bin face. Binfetti. Thank you very much, Yorosh. That is for Yorosh there. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Yay. Thank you. I was going to talk about heating in houses. Experts say the future home standard, now expected in 2028, does not adequately address shading, shutters on non-residential buildings, and offices converted into flats under permitted development rules can avoid normal planning scrutiny, increasing the risk of poorly ventilated housing. So we've got some big problems here. We've got new build stuff not being ventilated enough, and then we've got the Victorian stuff, like where I live, where the stuff to all the chimneys were fucking fantastic for providing ventilation, and they've all been blocked up because they went, oh my God, we don't need coal anymore. We'll have this gas cooker, this gas fire that'll keep us hot instead. We'll have the central heating. And that'll keep us warm instead. But without that airflow, you create not just the problem of mold and respiratory illnesses, but also you stop air going through the house, which is what you need to keep it cooled. We need more trees. We need fuckload more trees. Like councils did not want to put trees up because they fall down occasionally and land on a car, and then they've got to pay out for the car that it landed on. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit of hassle that councils can think, oh, we can do without that. So they never really, they plant some trees in the city centre. They generally only allow them to grow for a few years and then chop them down, put some more saplings up. There's a huge problem. We need massive tree building exercises. We need to get rid of a lot of pavements. Just get rid of it and have trees there instead. We need a lot more trees. We need narrower roads. Fuck these cars going needing like 3 lanes each way. They don't need that many lanes. It's fine. Just give them 1 lane each way. And you know what? They get caught in a traffic queue. Well, that's their own fucking lookout, innit? Food draft often lacking in single aspect flats. Yep, that is very true. Black Dot Dot says the bathroom ban begins 9th of August. That's really, really fucking shit, isn't it? Unfucking-leavable that we got ourselves here. Unfucking-leavable. But yeah, back to housing. So we got the double problem of new builds not having enough draft going through them, and old builds having other problems to do with the you had. They had air bricks, they had sash windows which allowed a bit of air through them. They had chimneys that allowed air through, and then the sash windows get replaced with double glazing, plastic double glazing, which doesn't allow any air in at all. They stuff up the air bricks because people want to have whatever damp course put in or whatever, and then it does fuck things up, especially for older building. Rendering on buildings, putting a render on an old building is usually the worst thing you can possibly do, because it means that the bricks can't breathe anymore. It's a huge problem. One Angry Pagan says the problem for me on this is the likelihood of the AMOC failing and bringing European temperatures into a localized ice age. It's something the government is not taking seriously yet. Well, yeah, I mean, and it won't, mate. I'm gonna just set you, I'm just gonna have to be blunt with you here. It's gonna make no difference. Like the government aren't gonna do anything about it until it's too late. I guarantee it. Because that's what they do, They just go. It's like that movie. Don't look up. Don't look up. Was that it? Would you be happier if we went back to horse and carts? No, because horses are more dangerous than cars. I just want cars to know their place, and it's at the bottom. The cars are at the very, very bottom. Actually, no. Lorries and trucks are. Big fucking vehicles are, but vehicles are at the bottom, and human children are at the top. And I just want cars to slow the fuck down. There's no way you need to be that fucking urgently. But we've built a society that's just full of stress all the time. Like, you can't, in order to get £3 off your £174 train fare, you have to get a specific train on a specific day, on a specific time, on a specific fucking operator. And if you miss that train, you're effectively being fined £170 fucking pounds. You get on the wrong train and you go, here's my ticket. No, sorry, that's for northern trains, and this is a Trans-Pennine Express train. So not only are we going to make you buy another ticket on top of the one that you've already got, we're also going to fine you as well. People are just stressed out all the fucking time, and that's why people are sweating bullets trying to get to the appointment on time. If you're late getting to your dole appointment, you lose your fucking universal credit. It's nice, isn't it? So if you're relying on public transport, which is shit everywhere but London, if you're relying on your shitty public transport to get somewhere, and of course when it rains, have you noticed this? When it rains, the bus timetable goes out the fucking window. Has anyone else noticed this phenomenon? I don't know how much you get the buses. Maybe you don't get it as much as I do. But whenever it rains, bus timetables go out the fucking window. And the nearest bus stop to us doesn't have any shelter. You're standing there in the rain, waiting for a bus to come. And there's always a puddle, isn't there? Why do they always put a puddle in front of a bus stop? Have you noticed that? Mostly because the buses stop there and they push the as people get on over the years, it pushes the road down, so you end up with this puddle, and then you've got some fucking dickhead boy racer going through the puddle at 100 miles an hour to splash everyone at the bus stop. But yeah, stressing out, trying to get places, stressing out. You park your car, you stress out because you've got to get back at a certain time where you're going to get a ticket. You're running back to your car, running back to your fucking car, working for your car, working for your, the house that people don't get to spend any money in, they get to spend any time in. And then these dickheads, these rich dickheads, like Jacob Rees-Mogg saying, we need to get people back in the office when people are finally enjoying the space that they own, the space that they bought. Oh no, you can't have that. You got to work for it, but not be there. Fucking crazy. But yeah, they still have horse and carts here in Durham. They really piss off the drivers because they just clippity clock along the road, little horse and buggy. But yeah, for me, it's like I think when people get into cars, they turn into monsters, and loads of us do this. We just get, and it's because driving is incredibly stressful, and when people are stressed out, they snap. That's what road rage is all about, because we made the infrastructure incredibly stressful because if you're in a geared car, it's really difficult starting, especially on a fucking hill. It's a big stress trying to do that and trying to find the biting point. It's a stress, just trying to find a parking space, trying to get in a parking space without hitting the fucking SUV next to you that's just taking up 2 spaces. It's a stress. The whole thing is a fucking stress. No wonder people get fucking angry when they're in their car and get all the road rage and stuff. No wonder we've set ourselves up to fail because we don't make a human-centric world. We don't live in a human-centric world. We've built a car and concrete-centric world. Fuck nature, fuck trees. Don't actually do that because you might get splinters. But the way that we have built our society in the late 20th century was just fucking stupid. It's absolutely stupid. The cars must not stop. Mantra. The mantra of the cars must not stop is insane. It's demonstrably insane because at some point those cars are going to have to stop. And if you make it so the cars don't stop all the way from London to Liverpool, and then they get to Liverpool and there's a set of fucking traffic lights at the end of the M62, what do you think is going to happen? Massive fucking traffic jams. Massive fucking traffic jams. Because it all comes at once. Fuck's sake, there are reports coming out that Labour that Burnham is considering promoting Mahmood to the role of Chancellor. Let's see what happens, Chrissy. We've built a money-centric world. Yeah. But I tend to try and think of like the lived experience of cities and towns and places around this country and around the world, and it's just whenever we give up our right to cross the road to the right of a car to never stop, that point I think is where we went wrong, where we went horribly wrong as humans. And don't forget that the oil companies and the car companies are always, and the rubber companies were always walking in quick step together. Lockstep, sorry, not quick step. That's a dance. In lockstep with each other, and have always helped each other out in these situations. And it's in the it's in oil companies' interests for us to be sat in traffic all day in the middle of Newcastle, where the cars must not stop, on the motorway that blasts its way through the centre of Newcastle like a massive twat. And and you go off the wrong fucking road, and you've got to loop around and come back again and then try and loop, and oh no, I missed my turn off, and suddenly you're on a fucking bridge going to the other side of the fucking Tyne. It's like, what? You've given me an earworm now for road rage, catatonia. I'm sorry. Catatonia. This could be a case for Mulder and Scully. You know that song they did about Tom Jones? That Tom Jones came on the radio, and it stopped Kevis from Catatonia and the guy from Space killing each other. The 90s were a wild time. Anyway, so moving on. Lewisham is considering cutting cooperation with immigration raids. Lewisham Council is preparing to vote on reviewing arrangements that could allow council informational services to assist Home Office enforcement operations. The move follows the discovery of a 2023 Home Office email requesting environmental health and food standards intelligence for joint raids. Green councillors want the borough to stop participating in deportation-related partnerships and become part of a London corridor of sanctuary boroughs. The proposal will not prevent immigration officers acting independently under national law. It's just that they won't get any help from the council, or environmental health or food standards from the council. Ratting on people who they might not be supposed to be here, which is amazing, really, when you think people think Labour are a socialist party, all about giving people rights and stuff. I mean, friends, they never have been. And also, read the Communist Manifesto. Read your Engels. Read your Marx. I mean, it's all about workers' rights. That's only about human rights. Bear that in mind. Anyway, so motorists have received private parking notices after paying to charge vehicles at supermarket and hotels. Charging fees do not necessarily cover parking, and some locations impose separate tariffs, maximum stays, open hour restrictions, or vehicle registration requirements. So basically, people are parking in car parks and charging their car and paying quite a lot to charge their car. It's not cheap to charge in a public charging thing, and they're getting back to their car after spending 60 quid on fucking, electricity, and they're finding that they're getting a fine on top of that. Drivers said signs and charging apps do not make these conditions sufficiently clear, which is ridiculous. So yeah, EV drivers are pissed at the moment. Charger companies say parking rules are controlled by the site owners, while motoring organisations want the restrictions displayed through both physical signs and the app. So when you plug in to a lot of these EV chargers, you've got an app. There's a few different ones. Which ones have I got? Omniverse or something. Let me have a look. What's Sparky? It's called Sparky. I've got ChargePoint, Electroverse, PodPoint, and Ohm. Spelled OHME. But yeah, so you go into your app and then you find where you're plugged in. So different apps, different plugs, I guess. And what they want is is it to sell you. By the way, if you are plugged into this, you do still have to get a parking ticket on top of the charge for the electricity. And apparently the government is preparing a statutory code of practice for private parking operators, which hopefully will change things a bit. But private parking is an absolute fucking scam. Always has been. Always will be. Andrew Ray says, don't start Graham on concrete today, peeps. Yeah, fucking disgusting, horrible fucking slop. Solidified fucking mashed potato that we make our buildings. What did you make all your buildings out of? Oh, we made them all out of mashed potato. Didn't they all fall apart? Yeah, they did. What we did is you put these rebar in it, right? and it was made of this like ferrous material, so it would rust. Wasn't that a bad thing to do? Because when things rust, when things oxidize, they expand, right? And that will crack the solidified mashed potato. Yeah. But what we've done is we've made it so that there's no way that any air or water can get to this rebar. So no cracks in the concrete. No, there'll never be a crack in the concrete. So you built a bridge out of concrete. It's got this rebar in, and there's never going to be a crack. Yeah. What if? Let's just put this out there. What if over the course of maybe 30, 40 years, millions and millions and millions of vehicles pass over this, including some that are just incredibly heavy? There's not going to be a single crack in the whole of the span. No, not a single crack. No, definitely not. Because if there is a single crack and moisture gets in and then it hits the rebar and the rebar expands, it cracks the concrete even more and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to have to build yourself a whole new fucking bridge or do bridge repairs. Like shut the bridge down for 10 years at a time. Great, good stuff. Like they had to do with the Thelwall Viaduct. Never return straight away if I forgot something. May be fined if not allowed to return within a certain time. No return. It just means you're not allowed to put the car back there. You're allowed to return to the car there. I always allow an extra 20 minutes for my journeys in case I stuck behind a bloody tractor or driving Miss Daisy or Sunday drivers during the week or difficulty in finding a parking space. You got it. It's nothing efficient about cars. It's literally the worst way we get around. Scott, I was thinking more about the lines of debt being piled high to pay dividends to shareholders and investors. Yeah. Structures lasting more than 20 to 30 years. Now you're talking madness, Graham. Well, it's the Las Vegas model, isn't it? You build something disgusting and tacky and big and concrete and glass, and then you just blow it up. After 20 years, you blow it up and build some other tacky fucking concrete and glass abomination. Private parking is a major scam, says Ryan. I agree. Got done at Aldi in London as I forgot to scan receipt upon leaving and got an £80 fine. I only bought a bottle of water. It's maddening, isn't it? It's absolutely maddening. Every single car park in the UK has different rules. You might have to get an app. You might need to give money. You might need to pay on when you leave. You might need to pay when you get there. It's just a fucking scam. It's just a fucking scam. Pay the parking fine, then appeal. Can you do that? See, that's the thing. Even if you appeal it and they don't accept it, your parking fine doubles. Fucking arseholes. Thirlwall was actually the roller bearing, says Nasty. It was fucking closed for fucking Thelwall Viaduct was closed for fucking years, absolutely years, which is on the M62, by the way, as you're coming up from Birmingham towards Liverpool, Manchester. Anyway, goes over the River Mersey, doesn't it? Over the Mersey River. So yeah, EV drivers not happy. Also, there's been compensation doled out for 1,700 customers are eligible for payments of up to £350 after suppliers cancelled of heating oil deliveries during the Middle East price-related spike. Some companies refunded existing orders, then offered replacement deliveries at substantially high prices. The Competition and Markets Authority found no evidence that suppliers deliberately engineered the cancellations to profit, but said the customers lacked adequate protection. So basically, the customers were expecting to get the heating oil at a certain amount, and these companies went, no, we're going to cancel that contract, and now you're going to have to buy it for more money. Anyway, so next up, we've got Britain plans its largest home defence exercise in decades. A multi-day national exercise in 2027 will simulate a hybrid attack, including combinations of cyber warfare, disinformation, and infrastructure sabotage. Ministers and hundreds of officials from government departments and public bodies will participate alongside a NATO crisis management drill. 7 risks have been added to the National Risk Register, covering interference in democracy and attacks on data, water, and police systems. Interference in democracy. I think we've already had some of that, haven't we? With the whole Brexit vote. Do you remember the Brexit vote, the fraud referendum? The Russians getting involved. Do you remember that? There's no investigation. The Tories said, no, we don't even want to look at this. A separate digital resilience failure category incorporates lessons from the 2024 CrowdStrike outage, and a public information campaign this year will advise households on preparing for emergencies. How do you feel about that? I mean, I do think this is something that we need to do, especially because of the fact that there is a man in the Kremlin called Vladimir Putin who wants us all dead. Yeah. Mahmood deserves nout. Grimfang said the Shabana Mahmood being chancellor has me worried. Ed Miliband may be controversial among the right, but he's economically trained, while Mahmood isn't. Not evening. Mahmood is hated on the left. Yeah. I like this. They're including the NHS in the security drill. Ryan, they have entry-exit cameras on supermarkets here, limited time. Yeah, but yeah, the parking scams, the water heating scam, the water scams, the heating oil scams. These companies are just trying to scam us all the time. We've got scammers whose job is to professionally scam us, and then we've got these companies that just want to scam us. You sign up with any broadband provider on a certain level. They'll say, oh, it's going to be £25 a month. And within a month, they go, oh, sorry, we've got to put our prices up now. It's going to be £28 a month. And you're like, okay, well, I don't want that. And like, but you're locked into a contract now for 2 years. And you're like, surely that's not legal. You can't say it's going to be £25 a month, then put it up to 28. No, we can. Yeah, legal. We're allowed by the government to do that. We're allowed to rip you the fuck off. Talking of Thames Water, Thames Water is saying its money lasts until late 2026. The company says it has sufficient funds to continue operating until the final quarter of this year. Well, that's good to know for the people down in the southeast of the country who rely on that for, drinking. It is negotiating with creditors, Ofwat, and the government over a recapitalisation agreement. Thames Water describes the restructuring as its remaining route to avoiding temporary public ownership. The announcement provides additional time but does not constitute a completed rescue deal. Meanwhile, down in Gibraltar, the Gibraltar Treaty was formally signed yesterday. Representatives of Britain, the EU, Spain, Gibraltar signed the post-Brexit agreement in Brussels. Gibraltar residents will be able to enter Spain using residency card without passport stamps. Spanish citizens can cross with national identity cards. The old passport checks going in and out of Gibraltar have been taken away. Schengen, Gibraltar is now officially part of the Schengen zone, effectively. The arrangement is intended to remove delays for about 15,000 people who commute across the frontier every day. Travellers arriving at Gibraltar Airport will pass through both Gibraltar and Spanish controls. Yay, Brexit! The more Brexit wins! Yeah! Yay! Brexit! Woo! Yay! Brexiteers, chuffed now, dead happy. Are you happy now, Brexiters? You got what you wanted? We're poorer. We're more isolated. We don't have as much power as we used to. We're now basically America's whiny little bitch. We have to do what we're told. We can't team up with our mates in the EU and tell America to fuck itself. We can't tell Apple to go fuck itself. No, you're going to get USB-C fucking ports and your fucking phones, you motherfuckers. You're not going to stop us. We're the EU. Yeah, we decided to leave that. And now Gibraltar is effectively part of Spain, really, now, isn't it? Oh, well, never mind. It's not as though the people of Gibraltar voted, 98% to stay in the EU. Was it 98 or 96? It's a lot of people. Let's stay in the EU, they said. And the people in Gibraltar are more British than the British. They're the type of people who have a picture of the Queen on the wall, you know? You don't see that too much in British houses, but you see it in Gibraltar. So they were more British than British, and they voted overwhelmingly to stay in the European Union. Can't tell you how much the whole Brexit thing just depresses the living fuck out of me. It baffles me that there are people still to this day who are like, no, this is great. I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. And he says, the thing that gets me the most about Brexit voters, they were cooperating with foreign governments to undermine Britain, and they think they were the biggest patriots. Yeah, they were cooperating with Russia. Led by a man who wants us all dead. Who has no qualms about his men blowing a passenger airliner out the sky, MH17, and killing 300 people. Killing 300 innocent people, shooting them down with a fucking rocket. A Russian-made rocket, fired from a Russian fucking launcher. Probably by a Russian soldier, but we can never prove it. Chrissy, Kanishka Narayan, the online safety minister, has claimed that Britain is now the safest place for young people online as a result of government policies. Maybe they're thinking of bringing in a midnight curfew on teenagers, which I agree with, actually. I'd like that. I think that all phones should turn off at midnight. That's it. You can't have phones. That's it. Unless it's an emergency. You're allowed to use your phone. You're basically at midnight, all British phones just go to emergency. It's ruining our sleep. Go to fucking sleep, read a book. Meanwhile, the BBC says license fee settlement is unsustainable. The broadcaster's annual report says too many people use BBC services without contributing under the present funding structure. A new settlement must be negotiated before the current agreement expires at the end of next year. Options under consideration include retaining a reformed license fee, introducing subscriptions, or allowing advertising. The BBC argues the chosen system must provide enough predictable income to maintain universal public service broadcasting. I think it should just be £10 a month subscription, and you can't get onto any of the BBC stuff without it. And you have, each household has a subscription, so you have the subscription for your address, and that's your pass, and then you get to use BBC services on the accounts listed at that address, and that's it, and it's £10 a month. I think that's the only way they can do it, really. But also, I mean, the governments have fucked, not necessarily this government, but previous governments have fucked the BBC. And one of the big ones was when they developed the iPlayer, and at the time they wanted ITV and Channel 4, Channel 5 to be part of that as well. So they all use the same platform, they all use the same iPlayer. But the government were like, no, needs to be competition, needs to be kept separate, needs to be. And if we'd done that, we could have had like a Netflix of Britain, but we decided not to. Which is shit. And if you think about it, like if you had an ITV program on the iPlayer, then that could have advertising, and if it's a BBC program, it wouldn't have advertising. But you know, it's not going to happen. But yeah, how on earth are they going to force a midnight curfew on 16 and 17-year-olds accessing the internet? It's just going to be an app for the parents that they can, like Google Family or something. I don't know. It seems pretty difficult to enforce, but and also I think the kids can turn it off, but then the parents will be notified that they've turned it off. I think, I don't know. Andrew, the problem is that the National Grid doesn't have the capacity to connect hundreds of thousands of solar panel installations to the grid. We need to rewire the grid. 80 billion, well spent. But we spent 40 billion leaving the fucking EU. So I'm taking my ADHD pills, so I don't go crazy. To be honest, I'll probably ban social media entirely for the over 60s and include myself in that. We're shown too easily hoodwinked by racists and lunatics. Thanks, Steve, for saying that, because I don't want to be the one saying that, but I completely wholeheartedly agree. And it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. And I'm not having a go at older people. And there's some people out there who are older and street savvy and, have had their wits about them, so to speak. But there are a lot of people, older people, who all their life, they went into a bookstore or a library and there were fucking massive signs up, hanging from the ceiling, right? And one said, fiction, and they had an arrow going that way. And then they had another one saying, non-fiction, and they had an arrow going that way. Brilliant. Don't have that on the internet. Someone took the signs away. Why? This little fucking village in Durham, and then some dickhead's got to go. I don't know if you heard that, but a motorbike, quad, I don't know, or a car that couldn't get out of first for some reason, fucking farting its way up the road. Easy switch off internet every night, whole country for public, just unnecessary services will be allowed, period. I mean, it'll fuck me because I do a lot of work at night. If I'm not tired, I never say I can't sleep because I don't even try to sleep unless I'm tired. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't go, oh my God, I've got to get this 8 hours sleep or I'm fucked and I won't be bright as a button tomorrow. I generally just keep going until I pass out. And that's a ADHD thing. I don't know. But I won't even try. If I'm not tired, I won't even try to sleep. There's no point, so I'll be doing something else. Andrew Ray, can't the Labour government make all new housing to have compulsory solar panels and power systems to back up the national grid? Yeah, that was just addressed by someone else saying we don't have the grid, the way the grid is set up at the moment. We don't have the cables for it. We don't have the cables to transmit that much power back and forth. We should do, and that's what the government should be building now, and it should be a national project on a war footing to get us to net zero, like immediately, just as soon as humanly possible, get us to net zero. I mean, most of the time, over 50% of our power comes from renewables. Over 50%, but we need to make that 90% from renewables, and then we can get some, nuclear power that can provide 10% or something like that. And we need to have every fucking house have solar panels on. It's a great idea. Charge your electric car with solar panels. It doesn't cost anything. Imagine driving halfway across the country for free. For free. Oh. Yes, it's double-edged sword. Healthy creatures sleeping at night. Well, there's a weird thing about sleep. Like, obviously, humans needed someone to have one eye open all night. Well, not all night, but that's why you needed someone on watch. And I think that's why there are people who just don't go to sleep. Like I'm one of them. Like I will not go to sleep. I'll be up till whenever, whenever is necessary. I fill up the space available when it comes to being awake. When if I'm out or doing something, or I've got a project on, I can stay up all night, no problem. I'm an out owl, but getting up in the morning for me, it's really fucking hard. It takes so long for my brain just to kick in and understand what the fuck is going on. And I wake up in the morning. Sometimes I go on Facebook to see what my mates are up to, but it's all bloody pictures of what Liverpool used to look like and what it looks like now. Fuck off with those pictures, Jesus Christ! Every day I'm bored of them. Anyway, and I'll see something. I'll respond to that, and I'll write a message. And later in the day, I'll go back and see that message. It's just fucking gibberish. Like after the spelling mistakes there and all, my brain's just not woken up yet. It's just like, and other people wake up in the morning and are just like, the bright as a button. I'm like, how do you do it? It takes me about an hour to wake up in the morning, about an hour to get my brain into gear, an hour. And I had one day this year, and I don't know whether it was a result of the ADHD tablets or whatever I was taking, but I woke up and I was like, just really alert and refreshed and awake, like not sleepy, not groggy, just awake, just like this, like I am now. But at the moment of waking, and I went, is this how normal people feel? Is this like morning people? Anyway, so back in the day when we were all sleeping together, out in the wilds, the plains of Africa, you'll need some people who are willing to stay up late, and you'll need some people who are willing to get up early in the morning. Apparently, the Native Americans, some tribes of Native Americans, their alarm clock was that they would drink lots and lots of water before they went to sleep, because they'll wake up needing a piss. True story. Breaking news, Labour should ditch triple lock pension promise, says OECD. Get ready for gammons, spit out their drinks as they read that headline. Fucking get rid of it. Get rid of it. They've been talking about, there's been Tories talking about getting rid of it. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. Is the National Grid privately or partially owned? It is partially private, mate, my friend. The National Grid, I think it was bought by a consortium from China and Qatar a few years ago. So, sorry if I fucked up the mic there. Is National Grid private? Yes, the National Grid in Great Britain is a privately owned multinational utility company. It's been publicly traded, privatised company since the restructuring of UK energy market in 1990. Who owns National Grid? The National Grid is largely owned and operated by National Grid PLC, a publicly traded, investor-owned multinational utility company. Its shares are widely held by institutional investors like BlackRock and Vanguard. However, ownership is split between region and function. So there's National Grid Electricity Transmission in England and Wales, SP Energy Networks in Scotland in the south, and then SSE in the north. So is National Grid an ethical company? That's a good question, isn't it? Okay, so National Grid is a British multinational electricity and gas utility company headquartered in London. Let's have a look. 2023-24 announced that later that year, the company moved ownership of its operations in the UK to Luxembourg and Hong Kong to protect itself from Labour's nationalisation plans. My God. Anyway, so yeah. No, it's a private company making money. Making money out of our misery. Make a double lock, take away the maximum increase, tied to inflation or wages only. I think it's gone too far. I think it's just simply got to just get rid of it and bring in means testing. Get rid of it and bring in means testing for pensioners. That's it. If you're earning £35,000 a year from your private final salary pension, you do not need a public pension. And we need to take the idea that people have like a little piggy bank that you put money in all your life and then you get it back as your pension. That's not really the way it works. The people who are working now are paying for the pensions now. I have to set my alarm for 6 o'clock and go through umpteen snooze cycles before I get up at 9. Yeah, Russ, same here, mate. Yeah. That's why solar panels are not fitted to new homes, car parks, etc. Is that because of the grid? It's called the national grid, so obviously it's private. It says blah blah CW. Yeah, exactly. I do think it should be brought onto national. It should be nationalised. Absolutely, it should be nationalised. But we will see. We will see. The Great British Energy, I think, should be one state-owned operator that provides energy generation from these wind turbines, the solar panels on people's homes, and we're all part of it. We're all stakeholders in that enterprise, and it allows us to get incredibly, incredibly cheap electricity. Because don't forget, once the infrastructure is built for solar, for wind power, and once the cables are all strung up across the country, the ones that we need to allow for this green revolution, energy bills should be fuck all. We're talking like £3 a month. Like fuck all. It's maintenance. That's all it is. Maintenance. You're not paying to buy oil from international markets, have it moved across the fucking world, have it refined in a refinery, and doing all this shit to it to try and get some energy out of it that we need to heat our homes. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If you've got a solar panel, you've got solar panels on your roof and you've got an electric car, plug it in during the day. I mean, it's a trickle charge. It takes an hour to put a few more miles on the battery capacity, but I mean, that's all you need. If you're just going to school, if you're just dropping the kids off to school, you're just going to the supermarket down the road. That's all you fucking need. And it's interesting that we talk about how solar panels always need to pay for themselves, don't we? Always talk about that, don't we? Oh, it pays for itself. You never talk about a boiler like that, do you? You never go, this boiler pays for itself over 6 years. No one even thinks about it because it's not going to pay for itself. It's never going to pay for itself, but we don't expect it to. But we expect solar panels to pay for themselves. That's a weird thing to do, isn't it? It is weird. The Times today bitching about raising the pension age to 68. Wasn't that Theresa May's idea in 2017? Yeah, I think pension age should be raised because people are living longer. When the pension was put at 65, the average life expectancy was 69. You're expected to last another 4 years, not another 40. Anyway, I think means cess pensions, sure, but I don't have an issue with them going up with inflation, even wages. But the 2.5 minimum increase each year is a problem in an otherwise stagnant economy. Yeah. What are we doing? Evil Theresa May running through fields of Britain, says Michael. Yeah, what's the most crazy thing you've done? Well, I once ran through a field of wheat. Cool and normal. Anyway, so Karim Khan has lost their suspension appeal. The International Criminal Court prosecutor Karim Khan appealed against an interim suspension imposed by the Bar Standards Board. The British Barristers Regulator rejected the application, leaving the restriction in force. The regulatory proceedings concern allegations of sexual misconduct, which Khan disputes, so he's still off the International Criminal Court. And meanwhile, Meta employees have alleged AI was used to select them for redundancy. It's an interesting story. So 26 workers have filed a federal lawsuit claiming Meta used automated performance scores and employee monitoring data to compile redundancy lists. Jesus Christ. This is AI that can't count to 100. No sense of context, no sense of continuity, can't count to 100. Do you think Donald Trump might be AI? Plaintiffs say that missing productivity data during maternity, medical, or protected disability leave may have artificially reduced rankings. One employee was notified shortly before giving birth. Others alleged injury-related or medical absences were treated as poor performance. They're seeking to pause their dismissals while pursuing reinstatement, lost wages, benefits, and damages. So again, AI costing companies money. And in this case, it's Meta, which also has an AI thing. Meta denies the allegation, saying the workforce decisions were made by people rather than artificial intelligence. Yeah, right. And there you go. I work 45 hours a week. I think it's about time we stopped raising the pension age as blah blah CW. No, I disagree. I think that we don't have the money to pay for people to do nothing for 30 years. We just don't. Cost us enough in the first 20 years of their lives when they're paying for school and shit. But then we got to pay for them to live at the time when they'll use the NHS the most and take the most out of the pot, but then keep on voting for parties that want to take stuff from the rest of us. Overwhelmingly. No, not all boomers. Not all boomers. Quickly, get the not all boomers animation out. Not all boomers. But enough. Anyway, another story today is the Round Ball Earth Trophy. Yay, the Round Ball Earth Trophy. I know you want to talk about this, don't you? England are playing tonight. England are playing against a team called Argentina, which come from, hang on, let me look at my notes. Uruguay, I think, or Paraguay, somewhere around there. Chile. I think they're from Chile. Anyway, the team is called Argentina. I don't know where they're from. And Argentina have a bit of a history with England over the years. We've had numerous knockout stages with the Argentinians, and one of the most formative football memories of my childhood was when I was 7 years old, and it was the 1986 World Cup in Mexico, and Diego Maradona, who was a striker for the Argentinian team, decided to handball punch the ball into the goal, which isn't allowed apparently in football. It's called football, not handball. So he was given the goal anyway. And there's been a lot of decisions in this particular World Cup and World Cups before that seem to have gone weirdly in Argentina's favour. So it's not just that England are going to be playing. Prick. Do you know what? People do that. Everyone who can hear you just goes prick. Everyone thinks you're a fucking knobhead. Fucking razzing up the road. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know how much sort of this mic cuts out, but someone just razzed up the road again. Anyway, sorry, where was I? Oh, the Round Ball Earth Trophy. So yeah, Argentina. So England aren't just playing Argentina tonight at 8:00 in Atlanta. They're actually playing against Argentina, VAR, the video assistance referee, and FIFA, who seem to be hell-bent on helping Argentina win back-to-back World Cups because they won the last one, 2022. So yeah, we heard it, says One Angry Pig. Heard it loud and clear. He got his milk, then lol. Yeah. Tonight, ref is Messi's favourite, and apparently FIFA want Messi's last game to be a win, so expect some dodgy decisions. Yeah. Have England prepped for the cheating that will go on? I don't know. I'm not holding out much hope that we'll win because I think the odds are stacked against us. I think that England are the superior team. Watching the form of Argentina throughout this tournament, until they got into the knockouts, they didn't play anyone who wasn't in the top fucking 15. Do you know what I mean? They're not had any real competition. England's played fucking Mexico in their home fucking stadium to 2,000 meters above sea level and still beat them. That was a challenge. What have Argentina been against? Fucking nobody. Do you know what I mean? They just had an easy fucking group. Not that the England group was particularly difficult, but they had an easy fucking group, and then they had an easy way of getting to the final. And the FIFA did this on purpose, by the way. They made sure that of the top 4 seeded teams in the world, which are Spain, France, England, and Argentina, they wouldn't meet each other until the semi-finals. Because there's money to be made, and FIFA like money. Graham, I live well for now on one of the two main roads in my town. It's literally like being on the Mulsanne Strait, says Sarah. Yeah, pricks. If you go to one of these horrible seaside towns, like in Blackpool or Skegness or Scarborough or somewhere, and they have the roads. They always do this. They have like they have the beach, right? And then they have like a concrete wall usually, and then they have a little bit higher up, and then they have a road. They always have a road, right? And then they have the amusements and arcades and things on the other side of this road. And what the kids in this city or in this town, seaside town, do is they just go round in laps in noisy cars just to make loads of noise going along the seafront. I mean, it's so childish, it's so immature, and just I'll just block it off the traffic during the day. There's people, there's kids, there's families. There's hundreds of people all on either side of the road, and they're waiting to cross the road. And then some dickhead fucking, boy racer. My car goes makes so noise. Look at me. I'm a very special boy. Yeah, it's always reminds me of that bit in The Simpsons where they had the flashback to when Lisa was born, and Bart was, the only kid, and he had I think he's got like a pan on his head, and he's hitting it with a wooden spoon, going, "Look at me, look at me, look at me," because they're all looking at the newborn baby. It's a bit like that. But I also feel the same way about motorcyclists who go into little villages in, fucking Derbyshire or somewhere, up in the Peak District. They go to these little villages and just fucking drown the place out with the noise of their fucking bikes. Like, what the fuck are you? What are you, 7? What the fuck is wrong with you? You go to a little sleepy fucking village and you go, do you know what this sleepy village needs? It needs 120 decibels of fucking noise. And you just know that these motorbike motherfuckers, if you turned up to their, wherever they live at the end of a fucking cul-de-sac or something, and just turned up with just a noise machine that just fired fucking white noise at their house, they'll be the first to complain. What are you doing? I don't want all this noise in my house. This is where I live. I've got children here. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't like it up them. Fucking pisses me off. I do genuinely believe that we should have noise rules in this country. You're not allowed to beep your horn between 11 o'clock at night and at 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that. I think we need more rules like that, saying you can't just go around making fucking shitloads of noise, because I was talking earlier about things being stressful in life, and getting back to the car park and getting on the right train and getting the right seat and all that kind of stuff. Filling out a form correctly. My God. The fines that are given in this country for filling out a form incorrectly. But what creates a lot of stress? Noise. Noise discombobulates humans, and you can measure the cortisol being created when people get stressed, right? And it goes up when there is loud noises. So think of like pneumatic drills or motorbikes or whatever it is making a fuckload of noise. It creates more stress in human beings, because we're like, also because it drowns out all of the sounds, and we don't know if a predator's coming up, sneaking up on us. So there's a lot of facets to it, but I really think it needs to be legislated on. And if if you can be pulled over because your brake light's not working, I would like, also to be pulled over because your car's making too much fucking noise. You get pulled over because your license plate, your number plate is, not, that doesn't have the correct spacing on it, has incorrect kerning. If you can be pulled over for incorrect kerning on your license plate, then maybe we could have something where your number plate. You could have something where your car makes too much your motorbike makes too much noise, mate. Here's a fucking fine. Tone it down. They don't need to make that much noise. They really don't. Or just get an electric car which doesn't make any noise. It's great. Can you, with your subscribers to support, start a petition at Govern for the nationalisation of the national grid? Bound to get the 100k for a debate in the committee stage. Let's do it. Okay. Let's do it. All right, Andrew, right. I've got a note here saying redo credits. I haven't updated me fucking credits at the end of the show for ages. Redo credits. I'm sorry for people who are members of the channel who don't get their name at the end, or people who aren't members of the channel anymore who get the name at the end. Sorry about that. Redo credits, and then petition, nationalize, nat grid, nationalize the national, nationalize the Grand National. Will Farage make an appearance at PMQs to see Starmer off? I don't know. Look into new noise cameras, Graham. There is a solution. Yeah. Grim says a couple of months ago, there was one at the red light on a residential street revving up his engine impatiently, extremely loudly. I screamed at him to shut the fuck up, and he stopped. Good on you. I have a Focus Street Drive it sensibly. I know it's a car scene as and at the Asbo, but some of the kids there, Corsas or Fiestas with less power than a blender, but exhaust you can lose a child in. Get exhaust like this, you know, arseholes. Hasn't Burnham agreed with Mahmoud's policy? Just seems performative and cruel. Labour's lost my vote at this point, says Jabron. I don't know. Just look. I'd like to play it in its entirety, but I don't think we've got time this morning. But no, look, Andy Burnham, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm willing to let him disappoint me for at least a few weeks. But before he actually becomes prime minister, I'm just going to hold my fire. And also, I'm going to steel myself a little bit because he is going to do things that I disagree with. He's going to do stuff that you disagree with. He is. I'm going to tell you that now, right? But you know what? If Zach Polanski was the prime minister, he would do stuff that you don't agree with. If anyone was the prime minister, they will do stuff that you do not agree with. Because that's the nature of politics. It's impossible to keep everyone happy all at the same time. And I've described it in the past as the equivalent of when you read a book and then you see the film and you're like, wasn't as good as the book. Yeah, of course it wasn't. The book was your imagination. Whereas the film is somebody else's imagination. It's what they saw when they read the book. You saw something completely different. Because that's your imagination. You go, that's as good as my imagination. Of course it isn't. It's your imagination. You can't expect all the people who run political parties to absolutely go ahead with 100% of all the stuff that you believe or you think is the most important thing. And that's another thing. Like we get along mostly on this channel. We don't really get into big fucking ding dongs in the chat most of the time. Sometimes we do, but we don't agree on everything. Absolutely, we don't agree on anything. I don't think there's too many Brexiters watching us on this channel, so I think we all agree on that. As this channel did grow out of an anti-Brexit channel, but I think we agree on the main things. Like we don't like Tories, we don't like refuckers, we don't like corruption in politics. No, we want everyone to have a good time. That's it. But the way that we go there on our priorities are going to obviously be different. But all I can say about Andy Burnham is he made a fucking fantastic maiden speech today in Parliament. It was yesterday, so it was fucking brilliant. It was about Hillsborough, it was about Liverpool, it was about my home city, it was about the new bill that's come in under the Tories, this new law, the Hillsborough law, which means that you have a duty of candour if you're working for public body or whatever, and there's an investigation on, you can't fucking lie. If you fucking lie, you go to fucking jail for fucking lying. At the moment, it's a free-for-all. You can just say whatever you want to investigators investigating stuff. You can say what you want to a parliamentary committee. They don't give a fuck. They can't put you in jail for lying. But now they're going to be put in jail for fucking lying. Good. Anyway, so he gave a speech and it was good. But, I'll just say, look, straight up, look, Andy Burnham's going to let you down. I'll tell you that now. He will let you down. There'll be something that he'll do. He'll fuck you right off. And he'll fuck me off, probably. But I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because I want him to be Prime Minister. I think he's going to make a better job of being Prime Minister than Keir Starmer, even though I'm not going to get 100% of what I want. He's not going to have the same priorities as me. We're not going to be joining the EU tomorrow. We're not going to get rid of the mad transphobic fucking anti-trans laws that come in. We're not going to have the UBI. We're not going to nationalise the national grid tomorrow. Loads of stuff. There's loads of stuff. But given time, we could get those things. And I'm not asking you to be patient because I'm impatient as fuck. I've got ADHD. But I feel like if we have a Labour government for 10 years, they can turn things around. if we only have a Labour government for 3 more years, then they're fucked, because everything they do is just going to be taken apart by the Tories or Tory refuck, whatever comes in next. Because it's easier to get rid of a law than it is to create one in the first place. It's easier to get rid of rights than to create them. Jabron says, I do like the Hillsborough law, but it's been a long time coming, and it's wild it took this long. Well, it took this long because the security services were like, no, and they put everything. They put the blockers on it. The civil servants put working with the security agencies, the intelligence agencies put the blockers on it, and Labour have managed to get it through. And they're that lot are pissed off about it. All the spies are like, oh, I don't want to go around killing people for, I've got a license to kill. They're not gonna stop being transphobes. Why the blue hell should I give them the benefit of the doubt? Or is it accept genocide to spare everyone else again? No, I'm not saying you should accept the genocide. I've just said he's going to let you down. I'm just telling you, just getting you to brace yourselves for disappointments. I don't think that too many people watching this is like, particularly evangelical about Andy Burnham, but I think he's going to do a better job than Keir Starmer. Have a good day, everyone. Oh, thanks, Mum. Hey, Mum. Mum's watching. Maybe I shouldn't have sworn so much at the beginning of the show, but I think it was well deserved. Anyway, so the kickball starts tonight at 8:00, they're talking about giving the Argentinian junta that's in charge at the moment, Javier Milei, who runs around with a chainsaw on stage. He runs around with a chainsaw, excitedly cutting programs for the poor. That he wants to be in charge of the British people who live on the Falkland Islands. He thinks he should be their president, even though they don't want him as a president. They don't want to speak Spanish. They don't want to be Spanish. They don't want to be Argentinian. They don't want that. They don't want to be ruled from Buenos Aires. They don't want that. But yeah, anyway, so we're going to have a match tonight. I think that England are the better team of the two, massively. But I think that the VAR, FIFA, Fanny, Infantino, they all want, they all want Argentina to win. Brace yourselves. I'm of the opinion that political stability is never really guaranteed. After seeing the amount of PMs we've had, I just hope for electoral reform at some point. It's long overdue. Jabron, we've talked about electoral reform on this channel a few times, but I mean, I would like to see more PR. I'd like to see ranked voting brought in, a bit of a change of the system. I'd prefer it. I spoke about this before, like a system, like a DeHont system type thing, where you have lists, party lists. I like the idea of having 4 MPs for a city like Liverpool. We have 4 MPs, or 5. Let's say 5. We have 5 MPs, and maybe 4 of them are Labour, and one of them's Lib Dem, for instance, right? And then if you want to write to your MP, you have a choice of who to write to, because you live in the catchment area of those 5. So if you want to write to your MP on something that you think your MP agrees with you on, and a cause that they might pick up, then you can write to your Labour MP. If you want to say that we should get rid of private schools, maybe the Labour MP will be a good person to write to about that. If you want to say you want to get rid of grammar schools and leave the private schools where they are, maybe you can write to the Lib Dems, because that's their policy. I'm not saying grammar schools are a good idea. I'm just saying that is just fucking bonkers. They're like, yeah, don't worry about the private schools that are causing all this fucking carnage in the world, but the grammar schools, think about them, eh? Those grammar schools that allow kids from working class families to maybe get a leg up, but they don't, you see, because the thing is that to get into these schools, you need to have a tutor, and to be able to afford a tutor, you need to be middle class. So I'd like them to get rid of grammar schools as well. Generally speaking, I'd like them to get rid. I mean, have a different system. Maybe have schools that are more academically focused, more schools that are more practically focused, and then you can skip between the two. They're only down the road from each other. Maybe you'll spend Monday to Thursday in one school, and then Friday once a week you go to the other school, and you learn some practical things like how to wire a plug. £5, England to beat Argentina. There you go. Ryan, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. I like that. Come on, England, says One Angry Pagan. This is really weird at the moment, because I'm seeing so many memes online from people who aren't English, who just fucking hate the Argentinians. Obviously not Scottish people, but yeah, and actually being supported by countries all over the world to beat Argentina, because I think Argentina's antics and the ref decisions that have gone their way have left a bit of a bad taste in people's mouths, and they're like, don't want them. Don't want. They're calling them VAR Argentina, which is quite funny because VAR, the video assistant there. VAR Argentina. He won't do better if Mahmoud is chancellor. Yeah. At least grammar schools are state schools. Yeah, Martin Harrow. Yeah, I agree. At least they're state schools. But it's just, I'm just giving an example of one thing that you might want to write to your Labour MP about, but not your Lib Dem MP. Or the Tory, or the Green, whoever. I like that idea of having areas where you have a group of representatives that represent the whole area, and they, you can write to the one that you think best represents you in that particular situation. Now, if you had a male MP and a female MP for the same area, but you were a woman and you needed something that was particularly pertinent to women, don't want to write to a male MP about that. But it's okay. You got a female MP. It's okay. How we can pull out the bag. I'm not much of a football guy, but hype is to see us doing well. Funnily enough, it's one of BIMFACE policies getting rid of VAR. Yeah. But then again, I mean, Argentina got the hand of God when that was before VAR existed. Although you could definitely see it on the actual fucking the TV. I remember going to school the next day, Blackmore Park Primary School in Liverpool, and going in the next day, and we were all just sick as chips. Like, what the hell? Like, Maradona got that goal for a handball. It was so obvious to everyone watching it, but the ref didn't see it. Fucking crazy. So we're going to have a quick look at the papers, and then I'm going to do us all a favour and fuck off for an hour, because it is Keir Starmer's last PMQs at 12 o'clock, so please join me for that. But first of all, we're going to go over to the papers. We've got the Daily Telegraph here. Inside, England's plan to stop Messi. We've also got Alzheimer's drug could stop disease. Major trial for new medicine that could prevent onset of degenerative condition. That's fantastic news. British citizens' fingerprints to be taken as they enter Gibraltar. Thank you very much, Daily Telegraph, who supported Brexit and supported that happening. You dickheads. Widdicombe killing was targeted attack. BBC licence fee payers fall by $500,000. Teenagers can opt out of social media curfews. Trump ends hummus toll after just one day. We talked about that yesterday. Trump chickens out again. Trump always chickens out. Not a chance hummus opens. Taco Nacho. So Keir Starmer there, congratulated by Emmanuel Macron, becoming the first UK Prime Minister to be awarded the Legion d'Honneur. The Legion of Honor, which is remarkable. And one of the reasons why I think that Keir Starmer would make quite a good foreign secretary, but apparently that's not convention to do that. But, I like the idea of Andy not being particularly conventional. Next up, we've got the Times here. Take the holiday with friends test. Don't go on holiday with your friends. They might not be your friends anymore. Millions are more forced to work till 68 under new pension age plan. Yeah, I've been expecting this for a long time. I mean, what? I honestly don't think... I'm 47. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to retire. I don't think I'm going to be allowed to. I don't think there's going to be any money for it. Widdicombe suspect may have targeted other MPs. She's not an MP. Police exploring an attack was part of a wider plot. Detectives are investigating whether the suspect in the alleged murder of Anne Widdicombe was planning violence against other high-profile figures, including Reform UK politicians. But Burnham's key allies say Miliband won't get into number 11. Senior allies of Andy Burnham believe they have succeeded in stopping Ed Miliband becoming Chancellor. Over concerns he would become a lightning rod for criticism of the government. And then we've got Harry Kane there with his mouth open. Mate, have you not learned that you should never have your mouth open? Not on this channel, because you know what I'm going to do, don't you? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get this. Oh God, you can't see it very well. There you go. I'm going to get a cock and I'm going to put it there. There you go. Yeah, childish, I know, but also amusing, I think. Anyway, let's get rid of that. So that was the Times. That was the time. You always remember the days when he wasn't behind the times. Next up, we've got Firm Britain on sexual harassment, writing novels, and a return to TV. We've got police examine possible left-wing motive for Widdicombe murder. The police investigation into the death of Anne Widdicombe is examining whether a left-wing or single-issue cause may lie behind her killing. Amongst issues, detectives are investigating whether hatred of Widdicombe's strong views, such as those on homosexuality, was a factor. The Guardian has learned. They are also examining whether hostility to the Reform UK party played a role. Then we've got Johnson wasted 10 billion on COVID PPE, 10 billion pound wasted. That will pay for the eighth of the upgrades that we need to our grid in order to achieve energy self-sufficiency in this country, and an eighth of that went on Boris Johnson's wasted government money on PPE that didn't fucking work, that he bought off his fucking mates. What a shit. What a shitbag. What a total twat. Red alert. Spain await World Cup final after roaring past France. And of course, we'll have to draw some cockadoodle-doos. We'll have that one there, shall we? No, let's put it there. And then where's the other one? I've got another one that I can move into place. There we go. Actually, we should turn this one around. That looks like it's coming out of his mouth. That looks quite good, actually. It's like Alien. It's like the inner jaws in Alien. Let me just let's just turn this around. Transform. Sorry, are we taking things too seriously? I hope not. There we go. That's good because it looks like it's coming off the other guy's head. I like that. So there you go. A couple of cocks there. Don't have your mouth open on the front cover of a newspaper. That's all I'm saying. Extreme weather is the new normal. The UK's climatic extremes are becoming increasingly normal. Yes, yes, they are. The Daily Fail here. £3 shot bet on Argentina versus England. And again, we have a golden opportunity here to draw a cock in this guy's going into this guy's mouth. And you know what? We'll have another one, which we can put beautifully, I think, on this guy's head. There you go. So we'll read it while we read the headlines. Widdicombe suspects probed over left-wing extremism. He may have plotted to kill others, including Reform MPs. We don't know. There's a speculation at this point, but okay. And then we're going to go down to the Star, which has got a Lionel Messi impersonator. He's an impersonator. This is his job. He impersonates Lionel Messi for a job. And there you go. Got a cock coming out of his head there. That's good. And 3 Lionels, because his first name's Lionel, which isn't a very cool name, really. Lionel Messi has backed England in tonight's semi-final with Argentina and said Jude Bellingham will get the GOAT. We'll get the GOAT, as in the greatest of all time. You see, when I was younger, I was a bit miffed that my brother, one of my brothers, got to be born in the year of the dragon, 1976. That was so cool. But now I'm older, being born in the year of the goat, 1979. Year of the goat, motherfuckers. Oh, yeah. Year of the goat. It's like Chinese zodiac, you know. God, I can't wait for the sports ball to be over, says Gallifreyan Man, which is fair enough. But I mean, you know, it'll mean that I can't just do funny shit like this, like get this cock here and then. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to move that. Sorry, whatever just moved. Didn't mean to move you. Let's get you back into place. We can do funny things like this. You see, I think that's funny. I mean, your mileage may vary, but I think it's funny. Let's see if we can rotate this. Transform, rotate 90 degrees clockwise. Oh, brilliant. Look at that. That's brilliant. Okay, cool. It's like a double cock. You can do this. From the hero of 1966 to the boys of 2026. You can do this. So Jeff Hurst says England have what it takes to win the World Cup ahead of tonight's semi-final against Argentina. I think they can win against Argentina. Whether they can win against VAR and FIFA and Infantino, I don't know. Okay, so next we've got the I newspaper. Giants collide. the Ultimate World Cup grudge match. We've got BBC in real jeopardy because of 500,000 households cancelling their TV licenses. We've got I'm a brazen boomer and I deserve all the benefits I get from Julie Burchill. And how Hannah Waddington conquered the world at 50. We've also got Widdicombe attacked from Waddington to Widdicombe. Widdicombe killed in targeted attack. Counter-terror police chief reveals. And then we've got the Daily Express here saying, roar them on. Roar them on. And I'm going to draw them on. What am I going to draw on them? I'm going to draw cocks. Because that's just what I do. I'm going to draw a cock there. And then we'll add the cock there for Jude. There you go. Everyone's got cocks. Yes, cocks for all of everyone. Everyone with the cocks. Your mum's watching. Well, you know, she knows what to expect. Moving on. Don't jinx it, Kia. Countdown to England versus Argentina. PM plans to fly out for World Cup final. The 3 Lions win tonight, but let's face it, he's not had too much luck lately. I think we've done all right. I think we've done all right at this point. I mean, he's the most successful. Keir Starmer is the most successful prime minister in terms of England wins. It's like 76% of games played under when Keir Starmer has been not under him, but while he's been prime minister, we've won. Do you know what the percentage is for Liz Truss on England wins when she was prime minister? 0%. We didn't win a single game while she was prime minister. To be fair, she was only prime minister for like 40 days or something, but still, I think we played 2 games. We drew 1 and lost 1. Has invoking 1966 cursed the result for England? No, I don't. I think what's cursed the result for England is FIFA and VAR and Infantino being a fucking crook. But there you go. The new era of minerals diplomacy, it screams the front cover of the Financial Times. Calm down. Democrats squabble in front of an open goal. This doesn't surprise me. Inflation vow. Walsh sends tough message. This is Kevin Walsh, the US Federal Reserve's new chair. Tells policymakers in Washington yesterday that the central bank has no tolerance for high inflation. All right, mate, whatever. Wall Street banks reap record profits as AI frenzy powers trading bonanza. I love the word bonanza. It's a great word. It's a bit like jamboree. I like it. It's a good word. Let's say trading jamboree. Earnings shatter records. Almost as good as it gets, says Demon. And SpaceX listing yields big fees. We've got Buffett drops Gates' charity from $6 billion donation after revelation of Epstein ties between Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein, the world's most notorious paedophile and Betty mate of Donald Trump. Ghosts stare as Argentina face England in the World Cup. It's even on the front cover of the Financial Times. You can't get away from the round ball, at least until next Sunday, and then no one will speak of it again. That's when the final is. Google DeepMind chief presses for AI regulator. Kyiv downs drones pound ships. We were talking about this. Ukraine has said it hit 130 Russian vessels over 9 days in the Sea of Azov. And this absolutely fucking pounded them. I was talking about this yesterday. I think it was on Geoscope with our mate Mike Dixon. We were talking about how the Russians pulled the fleet back into the Sea of Azov, and then to stop the drones, the waterborne drones, which are like little boats with a bomb on them, right? To stop them getting in, they scuppered some ships and sank some ships on the entrance to the harbours. So these drones couldn't get in, but then the ships, the Russian ships, couldn't get out, and then the Ukrainians just attacked them with like 130 fucking air drones, and they had nowhere to go. They couldn't move the ships out, and they've been in the same place for months and months and months. So the Ukrainians knew exactly where to hit them. Oh, I almost forgot pork markets. Pork markets. Yeah, stay away from lettuce, by the way, especially American. You'll get explosive diarrhea. That's happening in America right now. IBM sinks after sales drop. Hummers tariffs ditched because Trump was going to charge 20% of the value of the goods on board a ship for. I just want to take a moment here just to explain just how fucking stupid Trump is. I don't need to explain, you know. Okay, just to reiterate how stupid Trump is. He thinks that the owners of a boat, the operators, the charterers of a boat, right, that's got loads of boxes on it, loads of containers on the ship, right, on the cargo ship, he thinks they own the cargo. He thinks the cargo that they are transporting is theirs. And therefore, he can charge 20% of the value of that cargo for those ships going through the Straits of Hormuz. The guy just doesn't live in the real world. He doesn't understand that, you know, when you post something, it doesn't belong to the fucking postal fucking service. Do you know what I mean? It belongs to the person who posted it until it's delivered to someone's house, and then it belongs to them. It's the way it works. It's not like, you know, do you know what we should do? We should tax the Royal Mail at 20% for every item of valuable cargo that they move from every parcel, you know, that they move from one place to another. We should charge them 20% of the value of that parcel. It's like, literally not the way it works. What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, this is really, really basic stuff, but, you know, AI, no sense of context, no sense of continuity, can't count to 100, just like Trump. Do bombs make it hotter? I guess so. Wasn't much more on Sunday daytime back then, Harry. Yeah, Sunday daytime. Well, you know, it's Saturday daytime, Sunday daytime. It's all a bit. It was grandstand, wasn't it? All Saturday afternoon, and then the classifieds would come in. You know, Partick Thistle 1, Strathclyde 2. Okay, so next up we've got EU to ease capital buffers. We've got Nvidia trims buyers list. We've got Netanyahu challenged, which is good news because we hate him. And then we've got small caps usurp big tech. So small cap stocks are booking years of underperformance with the best returns in 20 years. So, you know, buy yourself some small caps. That's a £2 super chat from Saz, which is very exciting because it means that we only have one super chat away from either Confetti or Boba Fetty or Bin Fetty. What do you want? Do you want Feffy or Fetty or Fetty? What do you want? Let me know. Whoever gives one more super chat can make the decision. So write in the super chat, if you're going to send a super chat, which of the confetti animations you want, and I will blast that out. Oh, here we go. For Binhead says, Martin Harrow, your wish is my command. We are going to get the bin face. Confetti. 3, 2, 1. Bin face! Hey! He's got a bin on his head. He's got a real big bin. He's got a bin. He's bin face. Yeah! He shoots. He scores. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much, Saz. Everyone else who's dropped some dosh into the fan funding this morning, especially Yorosh there with that amazing, fantastic mega chat. We haven't had a mega chat for a while. Mega chat of 50 of your Earth euros. That is absolutely fantastic. Hello. We've got Sarah here with £2 super chat. What's all this? Saying Boba Bin Fetty. Boba Bin Fetty. You want them both at the same time? I don't know if I can do that. Let's try. Let's see what happens if I press both the buttons at the same time. Let's do it. Pork markets. Yes, absolutely, Andrew Ray. Pork markets. Yes. Yes, we've created a new creature, which is bin Fetty, bin. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe the sound really fucked up because it was like echoey or something. I don't know. Anyway, pork markets. I know. Pork markets. Indeed. I need to get like a pop-up that says pork markets. Pork markets. Pop up. Do I should have like a little thing that comes up like at the bottom of the screen, shouldn't I? And it's Liz Truss going, pork markets! And it comes up like a speech bubble. I'm Binnicus. No, I'm Binnicus, and so is my wife. Right, my friends, Romans, country folk. I'm going to fuck off now. So thank you. You don't have to fuck off. You can stay where you are. I'm not going to, not casting aspersions here. I'm gonna have some breakfast. I'm gonna have some nice granola. I fucking love granola. I just want to let you know that I fucking love granola. It's just the best. I mean, crunchy nut cornflakes is pretty good, but it's a bit too sugary as you get older. I think it's just a bit too much. Granola though. You know where you are with granola. That's what I like to say. Well, when you find one that you like, it's good stuff. Anyway, so I'm starving, so I'm going to go and get some granola. I'm going to be back in 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 23, 22, 21, 20 seconds, right? I'll be back here for Keir Starmer's final PMQs before he steps down as Prime Minister next Monday, just after the final of the World Cup, which hopefully England will be in. You can join us for that if you wish. If you do not wish, that is your wish. I have no say on it. I might do a show tonight at 6 o'clock. I might do. So what I want you to do, give this show a like. Please don't make me beg. Just give us a like. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We need more subscribers. And also hit the bell notification icon. That would be wonderful. That would be lovely if you could do that. And I'm sorry if I offended anyone with the C-bomb. Sorry if I offended anyone by drawing yellow cocks on people on the front covers of the newspapers. I'm sorry if I offended anyone by being a gobshite. But I'm not sorry if I offended anyone who's a bigot or a trans hater or a shite bag. In fact, I hope that I did offend them. So, on that note, thank you for watching. If I don't see you at 12 and I'm going to do a show at 6 o'clock, I will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock for another morning brew. And until then, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.